Addition and subtraction methods. Addition methods. You have the partial sums method, scratch method, and lattice method. Partial sums method is the standard method for addition today. And for this method, you're going to place the numbers into columns and then add those numbers in the columns from the right to the left and combine all those columns together for the final answer. Partial sums example. Here we are going to be adding 586 plus 305. Step 1, we are going to add the ones place. So we have 6 plus 5, which is equal to 11. So you're going to put that right here. Then step 2, we're going to be adding the tens place. And here we have 8 plus 0, which is 8. And since this is in the tens place, we're going to put a 0 here, so we know there's no number to be put there. Step 3, we're going to be adding the hundreds place, which is 5 plus 3. That equals 8. And again, we're going to put zeros here because it's in the hundreds column. And step 4, we're going to add all the columns together for the final answer. And the final answer is going to be 891. Next, we have the scratch method. And for scratch method, you are always going to add from the left to the right. For the scratch method, you are also going to put these into columns and add them in the columns. If you add two numbers together and it is greater than 9, then you are going to scratch out the previous sum and add 1. Scratch example. Here we are going to be adding 368 plus 294. The first step we're going to do is add the hundreds place. Like I said, we're going to be going from the left to the right. So we're going to add 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. Then put zeros here since we are in the hundreds place. Step 2, we're going to add the tens place, which is 6 plus 9. That equals 15. And like I said earlier, if it's greater than 9, you're going to scratch out the previous sum and add 1 to it. And make sure you put the 5 here. So then this is equal to 6, and you have a 5 in this column. Step 3, we are going to add the ones place, which is 8 plus 4, and that is equal to 12. So we're going to put the 2 here, and since it's greater than 9, you're going to cross out this 5 and add a 1 to it. And then step 4, combine all columns together to get the final answer. So this is going to be 6, 6, 2, which is a final answer of 662. The next method we have is the lattice method. And for this method, we are going to be going from the right to the left. Next, you are going to make boxes below the problem. And make sure you put diagonal lines through each of those boxes. And you are going to have as many boxes as there are numbers. Then you're going to add those numbers in the columns and then add the numbers that are in the same diagonal. Lattice example. Here we are going to be adding 342 plus 174. And I have the boxes here, which there's 3 boxes because there's 3 numbers. First step, we're going to add the ones place. This is 2 plus 4. You're going to put a 0 here and a 6 here. And then we have the tens column for step 2. That's 4 plus 7. You're going to put, which is 11. So you're going to put 1 here and the other one here. Then step 3, we're going to be adding the hundreds place, which you have 3 plus 1. That is equal to 4, so put a 0 here and the 4 here. And step 4, add all the numbers in the same diagonal. So here, make sure you've continued the diagonal lines out of the boxes so you have different space to write each answer. So here we have 6, and then 1 plus 0 is 1, and then 4 plus 1 is 5, and then here is just 0, which makes a final answer of 516. Alright, now we're going to move on to subtraction methods. And we have the standard algorithms method, and we see the scratch method again. The standard algorithms method is also the standard way for doing subtraction in today. You are going to subtract the numbers from the right to the left, and always make sure that the larger number is on top, and subtract them in their columns. Also, for the standard algorithms, if the number in the top column is smaller, you're going to place a 1 in front of it, and from that 1, we're going to get it from the number to the left of that by borrowing a 1. So you're going to make the number to the left of that 1 less. Standard algorithm example. Here we are subtracting 92 minus 36. The first step here is to subtract from the ones place, and we are going to be taking 6 from 2, which we cannot do. So what we're going to do is borrow a 1 from this 9, make it an 8, and turn this 2 into a 12. So now we are going to be taking 6 from 12, which will equal 6. Step 2, we are going to be subtracting the tens place, which will be taking 3 from 8, and that we can do. That is equal to 5. So then you get a final answer of 56. Scratch method. And again, for scratch, you are always going to go from the left to the right. If the number on the top is smaller in the top column, then you are going to scratch out the sum from the previous column and make that sum 1 less, and then put a 1 in front of the smaller number in the top column. Scratch example. Here we are subtracting 386 minus 178. The first step here is to subtract the hundreds place, because like I said, when you have scratch, you're always going to go from the left to the right. So in the hundreds place, we have 3 minus 1, and that is equal to 2. And step 2, we have 8 minus 7, and that is equal to 1. Then step 3, we are going to subtract the ones place, and you're going to take 8 from 6, which we cannot do that. So you're going to scratch out the previous sum and make it 1 less, which would be 0 in this case, and then turn this into 16, and then you're going to take 8 away from 16, and that gives you 8. And then you are going to combine all these columns together, and that'll make a final answer of 208. And then here are my citations.